which reduces our total industrial capacity. But I'm fairly certain I know why the developers of Kaiserreich did that. It was to nerf Russia, because if we went through all this territory and retook everything, Russia's industrial capacity would shoot through the roof. I mean, we've only just taken back most of the Caucasus, and we're already up about 20 IC. So, that's quite an impressive feat. I'm not at war with anyone. But why is the war music playing? I don't know. But the Baku oil fields... Russia needs oil, and lots of it, if it is going to keep up with the other major powers in industrial and military production. While we have limited oil fields in central Siberia, our former province of Azerbaijan has a gigantic petroleum industry, which it is finding increasingly difficult to maintain. Should we seek to promote our interests in the region? We are going to take over the Baku oil concern and control their government. It'll be quite expensive in the short term, but this should, if I remember right, allow us to puppet Baku, or puppet Azerbaijan, and take it over without a fight. Or not. Decline the offer. Attempt to limit Russian influence. Azerbaijani resistance. Their foolish government rejected our attempts to exert our influence over their government. How should we react to this insolence? As I said before, there's only one way to react to this kind of thing. War. Invade their asses. Right now we have plenty of troops in the region, and they're basically all our national provinces, so no revolt risk or anything. Tbilisi captured. That's the Georgian capital, by the way. The capital of Georgia has been taken by our forces. It was a heavy, although brief fight. During the battle, some factories of the city were destroyed and may never be reconstructed, which reduces industrial capacity. This is what I'm talking about. It's a way to basically nerf Russia so you don't completely go crazy with how much industry you have access to if you retake everything. The integration of the Northern Caucasus. The areas once occupied by the mountainous Republic of the Northern Caucasus are now firmly integrated into our growing motherland. Great! And we gain a little bit of descent, but those are now part of Russia once more, and we get the full benefit from them being ours, rather than just being territories we have occupied. People's Army Doctrine. Now, large front it is. And we have another opening for a researcher, so we'll do light tank 1936. As we crush Azerbaijan like a bug. Like the bug they are. Goodbye, Azerbaijan. You won't be missed. Baku captured. Capital of Azerbaijan has been taken by our forces. Heavy although brief fight. The factories were destroyed and may never be reconstructed. Now I want these fellows over by Armenia because they are our next target. Status of Armenia. Demand their incorporation. Armenia submits, seeing the Ottomans abandoned them and Persia wasn't about to help out. They decided to just give it up. Seeing no other options, the Armenian leadership accepted our demands and we annexed them. Excellent. The Caucasus are ours now. So, first order of business, get some troops right there, just in case. I mean, it may seem a little paranoid considering they are our ally, but I didn't want them as allies, I wanted their territory, and to borrow a quote from an old friend of mine, and from the French Revolution, it's not paranoia if they really are out to get you. And they certainly are out to get me, I'm convinced. Armenia reincorporated into Russia. Areas of the former Ottoman puppet state of Armenia are now firmly integrated into Mother Russia. Great! And that was my attempt at doing a Russian accent, which was probably god-awful in every conceivable way, knowing my luck. Government intervention. With political stabilization finally in place, we are prepared to enact a series of intensive reforms aimed at restoring pre-crisis industrial power. Each time IC modifier changed by +4%. National descent -3, money -50. Not that the descent part really affects us, I mean we have no descent right now. Which is awesome. I love having no dissent, I really do. Focus in international policy. I'll take Central Asia, I think. Must secure Central Asia, yes. Now, not seeing any options for dealing with Turkestan, or essentially forcing the Alash Orda to be annexed. Peasant unrest. Okay, and our aircraft carrier, as we can go to 1930 now. Even though I'm not focusing on actually building any carriers, I want to have the ability to do it when I need to. .1930 Mountain Division. And next, I think 1932 Cavalry. Let's get some horses in the mix as we continue to ding over with our upgrades. And let's check out how things are going over there in America. And looky here. Korea has half their peninsula. Well done, you. And the United States federal government is getting quite thoroughly shafted over there. Things appear to be pretty deadlocked over in Spain, actually. Madrid's still in the hands of the communists, but things there are fairly deadlocked between the three factions. We're not accomplishing anything over there, as far as I can tell. Wait, who are we in a war against? I'm fairly certain Russia is not at war with anyone. Let's look at diplomatic relationships. Not seeing any wars. Really not seeing any wars. Motherland mass, thank you, thank you. Things are shifting all the time in this particular civil war. And this is very irritating right now. The Alash Order over here. We are allied, but I don't want to be allied. I'm considering banning them from my alliance, since that would probably be the quickest way to get this done. First, I'm gonna save, just in case things don't go quite how I plan. I won't reload it unless I have to, but if something unexpected and weird happens, I will, and I'll explain what happened. Fuck off. Status of Central Asia. Oh yeah. Liberals criticize the clergy. Encourage a debate on religious matters. And status of Central Asia. The Russian army will bring order to Central Asia and the barbarians. Central Asia was part of the Russian Empire once, but now it's out of our sphere of influence, which we cannot accept because of the stability and safety of our borderline. The Central Asian tribes will never be stable and calm unless we force them to. Alash Orda betrayed our good relationships and turned separatist, while Emir of Turkestan forgot that he was a Russian vassal before the revolution. He transformed a former Russian client state into the bastion of Islamist fanatics. We can't wait anymore. Central Asia should be under our control. Yes. the Russians will bring order to Central Asia. War! And we declare war on both of them. And my typical strategy here, attack on all fronts. Only as Russia can you really pull this shit off, where you simultaneously attack on every single front. Censorship, war propaganda. No need for either, honestly. But, and I really should have explained this in our first war, this is how combat works in Darkest Hour. And Kaiserreich. It's really simplistic. There's not really anything complicated. It's not like a total war game or anything. This is all you get. You get where you're going, who's there, and some basic readouts about who's winning, who's losing, and some general details on the combat. That's basically it. I don't actually have a problem with that. It's an excellent way to do the combat, and this form of display is excellent. A bunch of our industrial capacity is finished, as I was saying. It's an excellent way to display things here, because it fits what they're doing, which is a war game. And Paradox has never been about the in-depth battles or anything. With them, the combat and wars and such in their games have always been more a means to an end than an actual end. More of our industry is finishing. I like this. Prayers for the Tsar. Thank you. Might add some prayers for the soldiers on the front lines while you're at it. SR Menshevik coalition breaks up. Kerensky's death meant that the fragile SR Cadet coalition was no more. An attempt to flirt with the less radical faction of the communists, the Mensheviks, failed to bring the SR back into power. As a result, the Menshevik leaders with their leader, Iraqi Tezzareti, have declared the coalition as invalid. Though this has little effect on the government, the potential consequences may be great, with even a Menshevik-Bolshevik coalition possible. Yes, let the Reds quarrel, as they do. Let them fight each other. And we want to push on now. Alma-Ata, their capital, is the only territory of the Alash Orda that they have, which we need to be able to annex them. Because, and this is a unique thing with combat in the Hearts of Iron series that is not the case in Hearts of Iron. That is not the case in the other Paradox games. If you want to conquer another nation, like, we're at war with the Alash Order because we want to conquer them. Same with Turkestan. So, we want to conquer them. So, there are two different ways to actually annex another nation. We either take every single one of their provinces, occupy them all, and we can annex them that way, or we take their victory points, which are strategically important locations, their capital, vital industrial cities, places they view as being important. If we take all of their victory points, then they'll not be able to keep on fighting because we hold all of their important cities, and we will be able to annex them. And the war will, in a sense, be over. I mean, there'll be partisans and resistance in the territory for a while afterwards, but probably if we don't police it properly, but the war, at least in the sense of the overt combat and our invasion, will have concluded. Let's put it this way, our invasion will be over, but some part of the war will linger for a while, is the best way I can think of to describe it. As we win battle after battle. Large Front Doctrine has finished, and Motherland Mass. Now, Denikin. Are you the best man for the job here? And no, you aren't. You. Give me armor division formation. I want to be able to make tanks. Attack there. Attack there. There as well. And once again, as I was saying, the forces of Russia at this point are nigh on unstoppable. Our enemies are basically evaporating. Those particular decisions I'm not reading because I read them once before, and they're not interesting to see a second time. They're just the same thing again. And honestly, so I'm not going to read them a second time because of that. And we are going to keep on advancing on the other fronts to keep the Alash Orda pinned down, and because we want our forces to be in position for after we gain victory, because we're going to then move on to Turkestan. Product standardization is finished. Agrochemistry, which we have a blueprint for. Let's make use of it. Research agrochemistry. Lots and lots of victory. I do like myself some victory. Interceptor 1937. Where you go? There we are. And since we eventually want to start getting into carriers, to research carrier air group a bit. so that we can put some decent aircraft on our carriers when we eventually make them. And what was that? I think I clicked past it too fast. Oh, invest in research popped up again. Nothing we can actually do, but even so. Conservatives propose reform. Their position in the Duma is secure. The Conservatives moved forward to economic issues. A number of projects have been proposed, but due to the lack of a coherent economic vision among the aristocrats, it is unclear which option is the most likely to prevail. We can either maintain the present system, nationalize the industrial sector, or introduce a free market system. I think I like our present system actually, so we will maintain it. 1932 Cavalry Division, and we won yet another battle to the surprise of no one. .1936 Cavalry is our next research, I think. Victory there, and start pushing on into Turkestan. What are their victory points? Their capital isn't even a victory point. Wow. These guys suck. Apologies, I think I may have just coughed. I'll try to edit that out. And no, we don't want peace with you. And now we are on the verge of taking Alma-Ata. So we can start pushing on Turkestan's victory point here. Because they're shit like that and only have a single victory point. Oh, we lost a province somewhere. Die? Please? You're not dead enough yet. Now these fellows are attacking at Alma-Ata, and victory is inevitable for us, happily. Alma-Ata will fall to our mighty army soon. And Turkestan. Oh, we also need their capital. I forgot about that, honestly. Which means it'll take us a bit more time than if we could just do a straight-up occupation right here, right now. Oh well. Agricultural expansion. With new agricultural technology being imported from abroad, as well as developed within Russia, our production is slowly yet steadily rising. This in turn results in redistribution of employees from agriculture to more modern branches of the economy. Great. So Russian infrastructure has finally increased a bunch, and we are now in a position where Russia is on the rise. Oh yes, yes indeed.